Hi there, and welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Explained. This is a video series where we explain the massive conspiracies going on in A Song of Ice and Fire. If you haven't seen our previous videos, we suggest watching those first. So let's continue on with Bran 2, A Game of Thrones. This chapter is 3,786 words long, and is told from the perspective of Bran Stark, the second youngest of the Stark children. In this chapter, Bran is climbing the towers of Winterfell when he discovers Cersei and Jaime Lannister having sex and talking about the danger his father poses. Eventually, he is discovered and Jaime shoves him out the window. This chapter is probably the most consequential event of the book series, considering the implication it has in sending Catelyn Stark south to start the War of the Five Kings, and sending Bran north to become the Three-Eyed Crow. The majority of the men have gone hunting boar with the king, leaving Bran behind with Jon, Rickon, and the girls. Bran notices that Jon seems to be angry with everyone at the moment, even though he's going to the wall with Uncle Benjen. At first, Bran was excited about leaving Winterfell and going to King's Landing on a real horse, not just a pony. But then he remembers the stories Old Nan told him about ghosts, terrible dungeons, and dragon skulls on the walls. He dreams of being a member of the Kingsguard someday, and is anxious to meet the greatest living knight, Sir Barristan the Bold. But now Bran is also apprehensive about leaving the only home he has ever known. He will also miss all those he is leaving behind. Bran goes to the Godswood with his direwolf. Unlike his siblings, he still hasn't named his wolf. None of the names he tries seems right. Bran tries and then gives up on trying to teach his wolf to fetch. The wolfling was smarter than any of the hounds in his father's kennel, and Bran would have sworn he understood every word that was said to him. "Lie down, that's right, now stay." The wolf did as he was told. He was halfway up the tree, moving easily from limb to limb. When the wolf got to his feet and began to howl, Bran looked back down. His wolf fell silent, staring up at him through slitted yellow eyes. A strange chill went through him. He began to climb again. You have to admit, these wolves are creepy and know things. And if someone is controlling Summer right now, then whoever they are knows that Bran is going to fall. Bran spends much of his time climbing the roofs of Winterfell. His mother claims that he could climb before he could walk. Since Bran cannot remember learning to climb or learning to walk, he assumes it must be true. His mother is also terrified that one day he might fall and kill himself. Once Bran kept a promise not to climb for almost a fortnight and was miserable the entire time. Finally, he gave in and confessed his crime the next day. When his father ordered him to the Godswood to cleanse himself, they found him sleeping in the tallest tree grove the next morning. His father, angry and laughing, told him that from now on, he was free to climb so long as his mother didn't catch him. Most of the time, they never saw him anyway. People never looked up. That was another thing he liked about climbing. It was almost like being invisible. Ironically, this is what Bran will be doing a lot of as the Three-Eyed Crow. Others have tried to stop him, but to no avail. The guards tried, but they were too slow, and escaping from them was fun. Old Nan once told a story of a boy who climbed too high and was struck by lightning and had his eyes eaten by crows. But Bran liked to feed the crows, and they never seemed interested in eating his eyes. Maester Luwin made a clay boy and threw it off the wall as an example, but Bran only responded that he is not made of clay, and he never falls. Bran is climbing toward the broken tower where only the crows live in Winterfell, when he is startled by voices from the First Keep, the oldest part of the castle. At first, he doesn't recognize the voices. One voice says the other should be Hand of the King, and that Stark will put them in danger because the king loves him like a brother. Jaime jokes that Robert hates his brothers. Unamused, Cersei insists that Robert will listen to Eddard. Jaime states that he prefers honourable men to ambitious men like Littlefinger and Robert's brothers. Cersei says she is worried about what Lysa may have said to the Starks, but Jaime tells her not to worry, as Lysa has no proof. Despite this, Cersei remains fearful that Eddard might betray her son Joffrey when he takes the throne, or convince Robert to put her aside. Bran grows frightened by what he overhears, but wants to see who is talking. So he climbs over the window, then drops down. He can see the man and woman inside, naked, wrestling, and moaning. He recognizes Cersei just as her eyes open, and she sees him. Bran loses his grip as he tries to escape. But he catches himself on the window ledge. Cersei and Jaime come to look at him. Jaime extends a hand to Bran and pulls him onto the ledge. As Bran begins to relax, Jaime asks him how old he is. Bran tells him he is 7. Then Jaime loathingly says, "The things I do for love," and shoves Bran backwards out of the window into the empty air. And this is where Bran 2, A Game of Thrones ends. Now, onto the theory portion of the video. An interesting thought is that we learn in A Dance with Dragons that Cold Hands and Bloodraven control ravens, but not crows. However, Bran thinks he is the three-eyed crow because all his dreams involve crows. Are you the three-eyed crow? Bran heard himself say, crow? The Pale Lord's voice was dry. We'll be returning to this idea a lot since Bran seems to have 3 different kinds of dreams. The wolf dreams, the tree dreams, and the three-eyed crow dreams. If you want to read more about this theory, then click on the forum post titled "Bloodraven is not the three-eyed crow." Link is in the description. It is well worth the read. As we go along with this video series, we'll be pointing out that the three-eyed crow might not be Bloodraven, and maybe it was not Bloodraven who sent the direwolves in Bran 1, since he has only been shown to see through werewoods and warg into ravens. Maybe the three-eyed crow is an even more powerful greenseer. And this individual might be responsible for turning Euron into the storm crow and sending him dreams of prophecy. Screaming, Bran went backward, out the window into empty air. There was nothing to grab onto. The courtyard rushed up to meet him. Somewhere off in the distance, a wolf was howling. Crows circled the broken tower, waiting for corn. We propose that the three-eyed crow is the most powerful greenseer ever to live, and was responsible for Bran's fall to make him the last greenseer. But for Bran to be the last greenseer, it means no other greenseers can be born after him, which means humanity must go extinct. Euron refers to himself as the last storm in a feast for crows, and we only know of one other powerful greenseer in the story who could be sending Euron apocalyptic visions and be responsible for warging all the whites north of the wall to bring about the long night. And who do the children of the forest call the last greenseer? The last greenseer, the singers called him. But in Bran's dreams, he was still a three-eyed crow. And that's about it for Bran 2, A Game of Thrones. In the next video, we'll cover Tyrion 1 and continue from there. Now, onto the differences between the book and show. In the book, Bran finds Cersei and Jaime are both naked. In the show, they are both dressed. The reason is that Lena Headey was pregnant during filming of the scene, and they used a double. In the book, Cersei and Jaime talk about the previous events that transpired with the former hand, Jon Arryn. This discussion instead takes place in the scene showing Jon Arryn's corpse. Jaime pushes Bran from the window with his left hand. In the book, he uses his right hand, which is poetic, since Jaime ends up having his right hand cut off by Vargo Hoat, the leader of the brave companions in A Storm of Swords. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. If you want to see more of A Song of Ice and Fire Explained, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, when you get the chance, try out Fantasy Flight's A Game of Thrones board game, digital edition.